Samsung has exploded higher plus 8.22% to $309,500, a historic single-session move that demands your attention. In this video we break down what is driving this and what it means. Welcome to MTRS_Market Pulse. It is Friday, July 3rd, and this is your complete global market briefing. Markets are charging higher today, with risk appetite firmly back on. Let us start with a quick look at how the major global markets are positioned today. Starting with the major global indices. S&P 500 is little changed, hovering near $7,483.24. Equity markets are responding to reports that S&P 500, NASDAQ register best quarter since 2020 despite Iran war. NASDAQ 100 dropped sharply minus 1.61% to $29,329. Equity markets are responding to reports that TSMC versus Nvidia, which RE semiconductor stock should you buy in July? Trading view. Dow Jones is up plus 1.14%, trading at $52,900. Equity markets are responding to reports that U.S. job creation cools in June with payrolls growth of just 57,000, unemployment rate at 4.2%. DAX is trading higher by plus 0.28%, at $25,653. This comes as S&P 500, NASDAQ register best quarter since 2020 despite Iran war, adding pressure to energy markets. FTSE 100 slipped minus 0.36% to $10,615. Equity markets are responding to reports that Trump's tariffs, Fed minutes, rumbles Bitcoin by what's moving markets. Now let us turn to some of the biggest names in global equities. Samsung made a dramatic move today, surged plus 8.22% to $309,500. Equity markets are responding to reports that Samsung profit surges over eightfold to beat estimates as RE boom fuels memory chip crunch. The HBM supply competition with SK Hynix is the defining story. Samsung needs to close the yield gap to win hyperscaler HBM contracts. Consumer DRAM pricing is recovering as inventory normalizes. Watch for any Nvidia or Google qualification update on Samsung HBM. Northrop Grumman made a dramatic move today, surged plus 5.59% to $549.01. Investor sentiment is being shaped by Northrop Grumman, NOC, has a long-cycle deterrence and mission systems engine bigger than a budget debate. Alpha Street. The B-21 Raider production ramp is the centerpiece, a multi-decade revenue stream with limited competition. Space and missile defense segment growth reflects the elevated threat environment. Any program update would be market-moving. Meta plunged minus 4.90% to $582.90 in a significant session. Equity markets are responding to reports that Meta is about to make its next billion-dollar bet. Wall Street thinks it could be huge. 24/7 Wall St. WhatsApp monetization is the next major revenue unlock, still largely untapped outside of India's business messaging push. AI infrastructure spending is heavy, but the ROI is visible in ad performance metrics. Any positive user growth data from emerging markets would be a catalyst. Apple surged plus 4.84% to $308.63 in a significant session. Investor sentiment is being shaped by Apple's stock gains as company XX cite iPhone, Mac demand in boosting guidance. Apple Intelligence adoption rate across the iPhone 16 base is the variable that will determine whether this cycle outperforms the last. Services revenue, now running at over $100 billion annualized, compounds regardless of hardware timing. The India manufacturing expansion de-risks the China tariff story meaningfully. Watch for any product announcement that could re-accelerate upgrades. Now let us dig into the macro picture driving these moves. On the geopolitical front, this comes as S&P 500, NASDAQ register best quarter since 2020 despite Iran war, adding pressure to energy markets. This is adding a risk premium across energy markets and supporting safe haven demand. Central bank policy is at the forefront of investor minds. Equity markets are responding to reports that Trump's tariffs, Fed minutes, rumbles Bitcoin by what's moving markets. Rate expectations remain a key driver for growth and technology stocks, which are highly sensitive to discount rate assumptions. On the data front, equity markets are responding to reports that U.S. job creation cools in June with payrolls growth of just 57,000, unemployment rate at 4.2%. Turning to commodities. Brent crude ticked up to $71.88 per barrel, up 0.11% on the session. The move follows reports that Brent crude oil bias may remain bearish to neutral in H2 SI 2026 business standard. WTI crude slipped to $68.62 per barrel, down 0.1% on the session. The move follows reports that Brent crude oil bias may remain bearish to neutral in H2 SI 2026 business standard. Natural gas edged higher to $3.24, up 1.44% on the session. This comes as S&P 500, NASDAQ register best quarter since 2020 despite Iran war, adding pressure to energy markets. Gold climbed to $4,185.50 per troy ounce, up 1.77% on the session. The gold move is partly driven by safe havens aren't behaving like they used to. Here's what's changed. Let us give you our near-term view on Samsung. With momentum this strong, traders will be watching the $328,070 level closely. A clean break there would confirm the uptrend and could bring in additional momentum buyers. Risk management remains critical. Always size positions according to your own risk tolerance. In the currency markets, Euro to US dollar is at 1.14, gaining 0.58% on the day. Pound sterling to US dollar is at 1.34, gaining 0.54% on the day. US dollar to Japanese yen is at 161.13, losing 0.87% on the day. Currency markets are reacting to gold's safe haven status is fading. Oil, the Fed and the dollar are driving the decline. Moneycontrol.com. Let us close with the key events and catalysts on our radar. Keep a close eye on central bank speakers and rate commentary, and key economic data releases. Any one of these could be the catalyst that defines the next major directional move. We do the research so you do not have to hours of analysis distilled into actionable daily briefings. If that is valuable, please hit the like button. It is the single best way to support independent market analysis and help us reach more investors. Subscribe and turn on notifications for tomorrow's briefing. Drop your view in the comments. Are you bullish or bearish from here? That is all from MTRS_Market Pulse for today. All analysis is for informational and educational purposes only and does not constitute financial advice. Always consult a qualified financial advisor. Trade safe, and we will see you in the next one. That is your full global market briefing from MTRS_Market Pulse. Subscribe and turn on notifications for daily updates.